Hi guys, it's Miss Russell and I'm here to show you our project for the week. We practiced last week on monochromatic. Monochromatic. Mono means one, chromatic means color. So it's one color that goes from light to dark, creating a value scale. Last week, we went from light to dark with our black and our white. So we tinted. Anytime you add white to a color, it's tinting. And we shaded when we added black. But today, we're going to start on a much larger piece of paper. It's our actual painting. So we're just going to focus on half the paper today, and we're going to be tinting it. So we're going to be adding white. The first thing we need to do with our paper is decide what design you're going to come up with. Last week, we pretty much all did a stripe. So this is our paper, and we went from light to dark. We had six gradations that went light all the way through dark. But today, we can choose a different design if you want. Now, if you want to stay with lines, that's fine. Maybe you want to go diagonal. So if this is my paper, the first thing I want to do before I divide it up all the way is divide it in half. So if it's diagonal, I'm going to go corner to corner. Then I need two lines on each side. So if I put a line here and a line here, then a line here and a line here, that's going to give me 6 divisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. When I did this one, I started by dividing my paper in half this direction. And then I put 2 on each side. But if I wanted to go vertical, so if this is my paper, I would start by dividing it in half and then adding 2 to each side. And that will evenly space out your gradations as you go. But maybe you want to do a shape instead. Okay, if this is my paper, maybe I'll choose circles. So I'll have a circle in the center, and then I'm going to keep going until I have 6 divisions, which means I've got to draw 5 circles. So I have 1, 2, 3 is going to start to touch the edge of this one, 4, it's hard to fit in this tiny little drawing, and then 6. And it's okay that it goes off the edge. Other shapes, there's so many shapes that you could choose. Maybe you'll want to do a heart. Okay, well, I have to draw that heart 5 times. Each time it gets a little bigger as it wraps around. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. Here's my 4, my 5, and then my 6 would barely fit on. All right, your large paper. Make sure you are using pencil. I'm going to use marker so that it shows up on the video. Once again, think, are you gonna do stripes or are you gonna do a shape? I think for this one, I'm gonna do a shape. I'm gonna do squares. So I already told you we need to draw it 5 times. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and my 5. So this will be the design where I start with my light and then it'll slowly go all the way to my dark. On my plate, just like last week, I'm going to put 3 full scoops of my color. I'm choosing red for this one. So I'm going to take my red spoon and I'm going to make a scoop. I want to try and spread them apart. So I have 3 full scoops of red. I'm only using white today, so that means I am only tinting my color. But this time, I'm gonna take 1 full scoop of white, add it to one of my scoops of red. Do not mix with your spoon. I'm gonna take half a scoop of white, add it to this one. And then my last scoop of white, I'm just gonna add last scoop of red, I'm just gonna add a tiny little bit of white. Then we're gonna take the back of our paintbrush and we're gonna mix each one up. So right here, I'm gonna slowly stir. This should come out as my lightest red, which is really a pink. I have to work hard not to spread it all over my plate. It's okay that I don't get this little part right there. I'll just go ahead and move over. This one should become a medium. I didn't even clean the end of my paintbrush. I just went on. So this red should end up darker than that first. Oh yeah, there's mixing really well. Got to dig to the bottom to get all my color. And then over here, this should be my darkest red in the end because I added the least amount of white to it. I tinted it the least. Now they might not be a drastic difference and that's okay. But if you look close, you're gonna see my light, my medium, and my dark. I'll take my paper towel and clean off the back of my paintbrush. Your paper, if you did a shape, we're gonna start in the center. If you did stripes like this one, you just need to choose one edge and that's where you're gonna start. Or maybe this edge. Or if you did a diagonal, it needs to be an edge. I'm gonna start with my lightest. And because I did a shape, I'm gonna start right in the center and slowly paint this in. Now you need to think about how you're using your paintbrush. If I just sit here and do all these circles and craziness, it's going to look scribbly in the end. You really want your brush strokes going the same direction, so smooth those out. Don't go in circles all crazy. I'm not gonna clean my brush. I'm gonna go to my next red, my medium red. I'm gonna get it all over that bristles, make sure I got enough of it, and I'll start adding my medium red. It's okay if I get a little outside of the lines. It's not gonna hurt anything. Don't leave any white in between the two colors. Completely fill it in. And now I'll go to my darkest red. And once again, I'm gonna really get it on my paintbrush. And this is my value scale, just using tints. I've not added any shade. Shade would be black. I'll save that for next week. Now, once you have your 3 done, it should be half your paper. Clean your brush off, wipe it really good, and let's go over them a second time. That second coat will really get all the little spots in case you missed any and even out your paint. Next week, we'll shade, because today we tinted. Thanks for painting with me.